Do you see what I'm seeing? Do you see what I'm looking at? I'll get closer. Yes, welcome up to my sewing studio. I got a tiny microphone and I'm obsessed with it, so I will be recording all of my content with the tiny microphone until the tiny microphone dies, because I used to have a tiny microphone and kind of folded the cord a little too much and it stopped working. And now I have a new one, so we're going with this one. What are we doing today? We're doing mermaid tail. We're doing a mermaid tail. I'm really excited about this one. I've been training my entire life to make a mermaid tail. I've read all the books and watched all the movies. I've consumed the mermaid content, really. Come look in my little sewing area over here, my little library of fabrics. Do you see what I'm seeing? Do you see what I'm looking at? I'll get closer. This is the stuff. That's what we're gonna use. Now, in an ideal world, this would be like greenish colored because my inspiration is very much Ariel, Little Mermaid. But if you've been following along, you know I'm a fabric hoarder, and so I'm cutting myself off. I am trying really, really hard not to buy any new fabric. I'm really, really committed to using what I already have. Through the power of editing, I will try and make it look a little greener in the final pictures. Editing Alexandria here. I do edit one of the photos so that I have a green tail, and I gotta say, I like the blue better. Something about the vibe is off when it's green, so I'll show you the green edited tail picture thingy, but like the majority of them I just left the same color. Maybe out of laziness, sure, but also maybe out of just, you know, personal preference. But yeah, I'm gonna be making a pearly blue mermaid tail. Well, I'm gonna try anyways. Oh, I gotta show you guys this. Give me a sec. What I'm about to unbox is not simply something I ordered off of Amazon, nay. 'Tis but a slice of me living my best dreams. Let's open this package. Because I got a freaking monofin, like a legit swimmable one. Honestly, by the size of the box, I was worried this was gonna be much larger. Luckily, it is the perfect size. I'm looking at the spot where you're supposed to put your feet, and I'm worried that my gigantic Amazon lady feet, again, if you want feet pics, you're gonna have to pay for them. DM me directly on Instagram. I can accommodate you for the right price. Yes, sicko. But I'm worried my feet aren't gonna fit in these little like spots, so let's try it on. A casual list of the things I've already learned about this monofin. First of all, it's really cool. Like, it's cooler than I thought it was going to be. Secondly, it's not easy to get my feet in the little openings. Like, it's stretchy, but it wasn't easy. And in the long run, that's a good thing because you don't want it falling off while you're playing mermaids and swimming around. But, and this is my last point, once you're securely in the monofin, your range of motion is vastly different than before. Your legs are for all intents and purposes bound together. You can no longer just walk or stand, like you have to operate very differently. And with that in mind, I want to plug a little safety warning. If you are not prepared to actually swim in a monofin, then do not just jump in the water expecting magical mermaid powers to take over and save you in a dangerous situation. I suggest always having somebody nearby who knows you are in a monofin just in case. And parents of young children, be extra careful because unfortunately it is not uncommon for kids to drown while playing mermaids in these fins. A legit and proper fin should come with some instructions as well as a physical fitness checklist to help you know if you or your child are ready to swim in a monofin. And if you or your child don't check every single box on that list, do not go swimming in the monofin until you are ready. That being said, if your plan is to just lounge around and live like a mermaid, I still recommend having somebody nearby you to help because it's not easy being a full-on mermaid. I got stuck a couple of times and struggled to get out of the monofin. Basically what I'm saying is do yourself a favor and keep the safety stuff in mind. Make sure you're well versed and you feel comfortable and you're like a strong swimmer. All the things. Now back to the project. You know how sometimes when you really want something for so long and you're afraid to get it because it might be like a letdown, kind of like meeting your heroes? I'm a mermaid! The real struggle from here on out though, how do I make a mermaid tail that covers up the fin, wraps my legs together, you know, like a mermaid tail, but then still be able to put my feet in the monofin? That's gonna be the challenge. I'm just thinking right now, don't mind me. I should look at my materials first actually because I have other things that I could potentially use in combination with the stretchy mermaid scale fabric. Oh my gosh, I'm a cute little mermaid. I actually kind of feel more like an orca right now, like a killer whale. I look like a killer whale mermaid that wears a hoodie all the time and is cool. I've never felt more adorable in my entire life, and I literally have a dress that like makes me feel like a cupcake. This is better than that. One thing I also have, I have this purple corset, and I've thought like, oh, it came with this cool eye patch. That's great. They come with these. But a thought that I've had is I really like the silhouette of like those siren-y mermaids that like, it's not like a tail and a bra, but it's like all one. So that's kind of a thought that I had. And like the purple does kind of match the blue on its own, but then like once I put it through editing, I can make the blue kind of look greenish. Again, I can make it look green in editing, but like legit the blue just sings to me and the green kind of flops. So yeah, whatever. Maybe? I don't know. This advertisement came with the fin, and so I'm using this picture of a mermaid tail just to kind of like base off how I'm going to do this and like how I'm going to execute it. Mine will be very different, but this is a good visual. The materials that I have, my thought is the corset for the top, this scaly stuff for the body of the fin, and then I've got this chiffon, this satin, and this organza. You can kind of see it's like a little bit color changey, like the fin part. The problem is that I just feel like going to sleep and taking a nap, but I also feel like making a mermaid skirt. I just don't want to like try it on a bunch of times. That's what's getting me hung up on this. I'm like, I just want to make it, but I don't want to try it on. And that's the fastest way to make something that you don't even like and that doesn't fit and was never gonna fit in the first place. Resisting the urge to watch TikTok for an hour. No, we're doing this. We're making the mermaid tail. I felt like if I sketched out my idea on paper that it would give me, you know, the motivation I needed to continue this project. Like, don't get me wrong, I dream of being a mermaid, but I sometimes don't want to do all the work necessary to make my dreams come true, you know? The sketch is nice, but in the end I kind of just let the fabric tell me what it wanted to be, and I didn't end up using all the fabric that I pulled for this project, partially because I edited down my idea for the tail, and partially because I only wanted to spend one day making this whole look. I decided to put the corset on to kind of help me visualize the concept and then kind of measure the fabric against my body. Me wondering that I might not have enough fabric is not a new thing, and I experienced this particular anxiety with almost every single project, so that's normal and super cool. I ultimately decided to completely overcomplicate this entire process multiple times. Like, now that I know what process ultimately worked out the best, it's obvious to me that I just need to sew a tube with room for the fins at the bottom, but past me was entirely incapable of thinking that linearly, and felt an immense need to convolute, obscure, and perplex the entire project. Like, girl, it's a tube, not biomechanical engineering. Luckily, my sister was over at my house working on a project of her own, but she also helped me with the pins and stuff. You guys, the amount of times I got stabbed with these pins was insane. I had little red pokes all up and down my sides from trying to fit this mermaid tail. It was kind of painful, but that's sewing for you. You have to be kind of tough sometimes. I wish I was joking, but I'm not. As you can see, I decided to go with the full body mermaid look instead of the traditional tail and bikini top, but that also means that I needed to fit the whole thing up past my boobies, and fitting it on my body was just not working, so I decided to try and use my measurements to just pin the two sides while the fabric was laying flat on the table, and this is exactly what I should have been doing all along. It is not exactly the right shape, but I made a lot better progress using this method than any of the others. Plus, when I tried it on my body, I just kind of had to decide where I needed to take it in a little bit, and then I just took it in. Like, it was that simple the entire time. Sewing the stretchy knit fabric was kind of interesting. I put a stretch needle on my machine and I used a zigzag stitch like usual, but this fabric is kind of like weirdly stretchy. And the scale design was printed on one side, so when you stretch the fabric to its limits, the pattern gets distorted and it kind of looks like it's got black lines running through it. The material also kind of gummed up my machine a little bit. It was fine, but I tried to be super careful while sewing because my machine kept dropping stitches the first few test seams that I did. It worked itself out just fine, but I was kind of aware of that the whole time.
Sure. On the main stage, we will be mounting.
I have more. I can give you more. Let me give you more. Let me give you more.
The turn rolls in section.
I am a mermaid. Not a mermaid.
Yeah, it worked, and it was way easier than I thought it was gonna be. At this point, all I had to do was clean up the bottom part of the tail, which, as you can see, I left open so that I could take the tail and the monofin apart for practical reasons, like cleaning it and just kind of like, you know, general purposes. But after trimming the bit of excess fabric, I just needed to make a few tie straps because there was no way the top of the mermaid tail dress thingy was going to stay up on its own, so installing some straps seemed to be the most logical way of solving this issue. I was going to hand sew these, but my machine was literally right in front of me, so I just ran a few stitches through the straps and called it good.
Speaking of hand sewing/sewing kits, this video is sponsored by VeloStar. They recently sent me over this awesome sewing kit. This is like the mini sewing kit of my dreams. Let's get into it.
Like, check this kit out. It's mini and has everything you need to get the job done. The case itself is durable and compact, and everything has its own elastic band to help keep things organized and in place. It comes with multiple colors of thread, pins, clips, thimbles. The kit even includes items that you might not expect, like these tweezers and nail clippers, which definitely come in handy when you're working on small projects. It's got a great little seam ripper, which if you're anything like me, you will be using very often. Also a flexible measuring tape that measures inches and centimeters. One of the main features of this mini sewing kit is this awesome needle case. It has 30 assorted needles, and to get the needle out of the case, you just spin the clear plastic part around until the hole on the side matches up with the needle that you want to use.
I have two nieces. One just turned 10 and the other just turned 16, and they're both really into sewing, and so I'm like, this would be like a really good birthday Christmas gift for them, because they've talked to me before about like wanting to learn how to sew and wanting to learn how to like go to the thrift store and then like upcycle things that they find. This kit is perfect for them. Future birthday present, Katie and Callie, this might be coming your way. Not this one though, this one's mine. I'll order you your own. All in all, I'd say this is like a pretty comprehensive beginner sewing kit. Like, you've got your thread, you've got your needles, quite a range of notions. That's what like all of this is called, like collectively these are notions. Maybe you need to fix buttons. There's some buttons right here. Maybe you're like learning how to sew and you just need a starting off point. Or maybe you got a hole in your favorite sweater and now you need to fix it. That literally happened to me recently, and I will be fixing it with this kit because this color right here is the exact like beginner friendly. The whole kit is available on Amazon. There's a link in my bio down below. Definitely go check it out.
Thank you Velostar for sponsoring this video. I highly recommend this kit, and I will definitely be using it for various projects from here on out. Now let's get back to that mermaid tail. Moving on to some of the details, and I'm gonna straight up just say that I should have skipped this part and just done without it, and you will see why shortly. But at the time, I felt like I really needed to make a fancy mini tail skirt out of this iridescent kind of plasticky material, so that's exactly what I did. It just has a little elastic piece in the top just to kind of scrunch the fabric all together so that I could wear it around my ankles / tail fluke area. It's wholly unimpressive, and it ended up just looking like I had a plastic bag caught around my fin. Maybe it's a commentary on ocean pollution. Maybe it's just me being kind of dumb. We'll never know. It's definitely just me being kind of dumb and making a dumb design choice, and I don't care who knows. However, one design choice that I absolutely stand by is this next one. I had just a little bit of that iridescent, shiny, plasticky fabric left over, so I used some even smaller elastic to make a little arm puff. 10 out of 10, will make again, totally recommend. The last accessory that I incorporated into this mermaid look was from a video that I made back in the fall of 2022.
And this is what we landed on.
The original tiny microphone, which you should go check out if you want to see how much better I've gotten at pretty much everything. But this is your very basic run-of-the-mill, incredibly average flower crown with zip tie spikes. All of the materials used, aside from my scissors, hot glue gun, and the pliers, came from my local dollar store. I think I maybe spent $8 on this crown. And even though it's like not the most spectacular thing I've ever done, I do really like it, especially the little hanging chandelier crystals that I added. That's a nice touch if I do say so myself. Fun fact, since making this crown, I can say that it has been through a lot. I've used it for so many shoots and lent it out, and it's traveled, and somehow it's held up really, really well. Friendly reminder that for every one nice picture you take, there will be at least 30 that look kind of bad, so just embrace it. It is what it is. As for editing the green tail in post, here is what that looks like. Maybe I'm just used to seeing it more blue, but I really do prefer the blue tail. It just feels right, and the green tail just feels off. Also, I edited my hair red in that picture, and I think that looks really silly too, so I'm just gonna try and not look at it ever again. I also wanted to share with you the process of how I got into the tail while we were on location for the shoot. I had my hair and makeup ready to go. I wore my swimsuit and a swimsuit cover up to the beach. That made changing really easy because then all I had to do was put the mono monofin on, and then pull the mermaid tail up and over my bathing suit, and I was ready to go. Story time. We were at the beach by ourselves for just a few minutes because right after we got there, another couple showed up, and it was this lady and a dude, and the lady just kind of walked away. I don't know, she was like looking for seashells or something, but the man decided to lay down in the sand right next to where we're shooting, and it was so awkward because he was this really large sunburned man in a teeny tiny Speedo, and he was like seductively lounging on the beach. I honestly tried my best to ignore him, but the image is burned in my memory forever. More than anything, it was just kind of funny, but I also just wanted to quietly take my pictures and then move on. I didn't really want anyone like watching us. We specifically got up really early just so that we could have the beach a little bit more private because this beach absolutely fills up. Like I said earlier, when you are in a monofin, it really impacts your movement and range of motion, making it really hard to move around. I was only in the water for a little bit, and I was only in up to like maybe my waist, but every single time a wave would pass by me, it would move me around and there was nothing I could do about it. Partly because I didn't want to get fully in the water, and partly because the monofin makes things tricky. So again, if you are going to wear a monofin in the water, be so careful. Yeah, that's the video. Sand. So I'm just gonna leave it there for a couple more days because I just don't want to deal with it. Things that I liked about the project. Overall, I'm thrilled with it. Truly I am. I think the pictures turned out exactly the way I imagined them. And I love when that happens because I'm always conceptualizing stuff. I did want to try wearing the mermaid tail in like a swimming pool, not just the ocean. I haven't swam with it in a pool yet. Again, it got so sandy. I tried to rinse it out in the bathtub and there was like an inch of sand in the bottom of the bathtub. So that was fun. But yeah, I definitely want to try and wear it in a swimming pool. Maybe I'll do like another video. Maybe I'll like jazz it up somehow for you guys and see what that's all about. You know, I actually have a giant trident downstairs. Maybe I'll make armor. That's not a bad idea. Who do I know that has a swimming pool? I know like 3 people with swimming pools and they live in the same area as me. It's perfect. But yeah, like super happy about it. Buying a monofin is one of those things that I've wanted to do for years and years now, but they're kind of expensive. And the thing about monofins is I've seen videos of people trying to make their own. They'll use like foam or cardboard or like a big sheet of plastic. In my opinion, you get to do whatever you want. However, if you're planning on swimming with it, a homemade one, unless you've really engineered it well and your materials are quality, a homemade monofin is just not gonna get the job done, and it's super dangerous. Like, they're kind of dangerous anyways, and the thought of making one, like making one, I would just rather buy one. It comes with a warranty, comes with safety instructions. I have like a really healthy respect for the water. I was a swimmer all through high school, and so I'm like a really strong swimmer. I'm very competent in the water. I'm good about moving my body in the water, and I can swim for a really long time. I can hold my breath for a really long time, and I felt uneasy wearing the monofin in the water. And we were just in a little cove. It wasn't like I was gonna get swept out to sea or anything, but I felt uneasy about it. I don't know how many safety warnings I need to put on this video. If you want to wear a monofin, do it safely, practice, and only go in the water when you're ready. I loved the wig, I loved the arm puffs, I loved the flower crown, the little tail skirt, stupid, not doing that again. The guy that was watching us on the beach the entire time, he was literally like, hey, everything just exposed. What's that thing on your tail? Is it like a plastic bag? Are you trying to make a political comment on like pollution or something? Hey, princess! Princess, mermaid princess! Yeah, no, it was like that. And he just kept doing it, and I was just like, dude, I know it's like odd, and so maybe it feels special, but like, I just wanted to jump out of my skin and disappear. Glad that's over. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate your support. If you have not subscribed, now is the time to do that, and I'm gonna say this for the very first time. Hit the subscribe button. Feels weird. More videos are on their way soon, and in this house, we craft in pajamas.